Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Do you know what? On my phone, I've got Raf Ferrari is watching. Raf, are you really watching? It'd be wonderful if you are. Say hi in the comments or something. It'd be great to know that you're there. Hi, Kat. Isabella Flowers. It's great to see you online as well this evening. No, not this evening. This Eve, this Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve, everybody. How exciting! I tell you, I'm in a proper Christmas good mood. I'll explain why in a moment. I've even got my candy cane. This is Dexter Wicking's fault. Dexter, I want to thank you for the fact that I brushed my teeth and then the very next thing that went into my mouth was a candy cane. But I can't eat it now because I need to talk as well. So I'm just going to leave it on my laptop to leave a nice sticky mark on there. Wonderful. So who we got this morning? Happy on this Christmas Eve. Terry Dixon. Hi Terry, great to see you. Hiya Sandy and Leslie and Jill and Pete Kerry, who's shouting out a good morning to all. Good morning Richard. Merry Christmas to you. Happy Christmas Eve. We got Mum Wales or Wells West. Hi Val, good to see you. Yes, Raf, you found us online. Wonderful. Good morning, Carol. Hallelujah. Good morning, good morning. Hello, Sandy Collins. Thank you for saying I look well. I haven't even put any makeup on yet this morning. I was just saying to Fiona, I need to wash my hair. It's all kind of waxy and disgusting, but that's okay. Yes, we're feeling a lot better. Thanks, Richard. Hoping to even get Fiona out of the house today for what will be the first time in nearly 3 weeks. So we will see. Hopefully I won't. I purposely didn't take any cough medicine in case I started coughing. So now I've had my medicine. That should hopefully calm everything down. James, I was just saying, I've got my candy cane. I've already started nibbling down on it. This morning, one of the first things I was able to do this morning was go through the carol service for tonight that Gareth sent over. Spine tingling, emotion evoking. It was brilliant, which put me properly in the Christmas mood. And then there was story time with Uncle James, which was outstanding. And I'm not going to be singing this morning, James, no. Unfortunately not. But James Wicking's story times are a thing to behold, and I'm so grateful that I was allowed into the very secret little group of people to watch them. But Dexter totally steals the show, James. You know this. But anyway, I want to just give us literally just a little bit of information as this is our last 10 at 10 this year. We will be reconvening on the 4th of January, Monday the 4th of January. So we're going to have a bit of a break from 10 at 10s. We're also going to have a bit of a break from our Gather to Prayer meeting. So our next Gather to Prayer meeting will be on the 6th of January, that Wednesday. And if I'm totally honest with you, I can't remember if it'll be a daytime one or an evening one. I guess I get to make those decisions, but I don't want to do it in isolation. My guess is it will be an evening, but I think, yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll let you know. So they're two big things. This is our last 10 at 10 of the year, and we'll be gathering back to pray again in the beginning of January. Also, we are meeting tomorrow morning. So 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're having a short Christmas Day celebration online. So it'll be on our main Facebook page. That will be at 11 o'clock. And then again on the 27th of December, we're having a Sunday morning service. Again, it'll be a much shorter service than our normal ones that we've been doing. But that will again be at 11 o'clock. And just earlier this week, we were together as a leadership team and talking about January in light of all of what we're dealing with second and third type strains and tier 4, and the kids are joking about kind of tier 10 when we're not even allowed to look out the window. But we just decided that for January, we're going to stay online rather than sort of the stop starting, let's go live, let's not go live. Some of you I know really appreciate our live services. I know I do. For others, there's just so much compromise that we're currently having to do that it's really robbing you of what you really feel like not Christmas, what our gatherings together are. So we just feel like actually for January, we're going to be back online. 11 o'clock will be our primary meeting. And then afterwards, we do want to really encourage all of you, come to the Zoom meetings afterwards. The Zoom Hangouts, I don't know what to call them, but they're just a great half an hour, 45 minutes of chatting to one another, doing the thing that we would do when we arrive for church on a Sunday morning or when we hang around for tea and coffee afterwards. So please make that an absolute priority after our meetings. So then I think that's the main stuff. Obviously, don't forget tonight, 6 o'clock. Our live stream will be going live at 5:55. And then at 6:10, the program itself actually begins. So the service itself will begin at 6:10, but you'll be able to find the live stream for a quarter of an hour leading up to it. And so I'd encourage you to do that. And then if you want to partake in this Christmas bell jingle, which has been a growing international thing now, where the idea being to just sort of share some Christmas love to our neighbours and to those that are lonely to know they're not alone. And then we're going to try and sing We Wish You Merry Christmas on the doorstep. And then we're going to come in for it's going to be outstanding. It is outstanding, I know it is. And so they're the main bits and pieces I just wanted to share with you this morning. There's an event on the Facebook page. Please, if you receive an invitation to like that event, please like it, because what that does is it tells all of your friends that you're going to an event tonight, and it's an event that they could go to and they can also come to it, and all that's, it's all just advertising. Hey, listen, it's Christmas Eve. Hallelujah. John says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him life, and the life of the light of men. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome him. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He was as a witness to bear witness about the light, that all may believe through him. He was not the light, but came to bear witness about the light. The true light, which enlightens everyone, was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made through him, yet the world didn't know him. He came to his own, and his own people didn't receive him. But to all who did receive him, who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of flesh, nor the will of man, but of God. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. And we have seen his glory, the glory as of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. God's story from the beginning to end describes glory getting dirty and dirt getting blessed. The Creator made humanity out of the dust, and on that day we left a little bit of dust in the creases of his hands, and it was surely a sign of things to come. When God made us again, he came first to a teenage girl, and then to unwashed shepherds, and later to pagan astrologers. God spoke the gospel as a dirty word into a religious culture. The word, we're told by John at the start of his gospel, became flesh. The Latin used here is caro, which we get the word carnivore or incarnation, carnival and even carnal. God became a lump of meat, a circus, a street circus, a man like every man. John's messing with our minds. He knew perfectly well that this opening salvo was a shocking, seemingly blasphemous way to start his gospel. Like Malcolm McLaren, Alexander McQueen, or Quentin Tarantino, he's grabbing our attention, insisting upon an audience, demanding a response. In the beginning, he says, echoing the opening line of the Bible, lulling us into a false sense of religious security. At this point, I imagine John pausing mischievously, just long enough for every son of Abraham to fill in the blanks incorrectly. In the beginning, he continues, was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It's the familiar creation narrative, outrageously remixed, featuring a new, mysterious aspect of divinity, named like some kind of superhero in a Marvel comic, the Word. And yet, for John's Greek readers, the vast majority of Christians by the time the Gospel was written, the Word was not a new concept at all. For them, this was the familiar logos of domestic philosophy that define the divine animating principle pervading the cosmos. The bewildering thing for their ears would have been John's emphatic conflation of this pagan Greek notion of divinity with the creator God of Jewish monotheism. The Word, he said, unambiguously was God. And so, in just these first 30 words of his gospel, John has effectively both affirmed and alienated his entire audience, Greek and Jew alike. And then, like a prize fighter in the ring, while we're all still reeling from the first theological onslaught, John lands his body blow. The Word, he said, became flesh. It's a breathtaking statement, equally appalling for the Jews who had an elaborate set of 613 rules to help segregate holiness from worldliness, but also for the Greeks who despised the flesh, embarrassing base instincts. The Word became flesh. Imagine the intake of breath, the furrowed brows, the wives looking at their husbands silently asking, did he just say what I think he said? And the husbands glancing towards their elders wondering, is this okay? It's punk rock theology. It's screaming, hello. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling amongst us, and we have seen his glory. One scholar says that it's possibly the greatest single verse in the New Testament, and certainly the sentence for which John wrote his gospel. God's infinite glory has moved, as Eugene Peterson says, into the neighborhood. He has affirmed our humanity fully. He has identified with us completely in our joy, but also in our pain. God made him who had no sin to be sin for us. The Word didn't just pretend to become flesh. He wasn't fraternizing with humanity from a moral superior plane. Jesus became flesh for us so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. This is the staggering message of Christ's incarnation, God's glory becoming dirt so that we, the scum of the earth, might become the very glory of God. This then is our creed. We believe in the blasphemous glory of Emmanuel, infinity dwindled to infinity. As a poet once said, we believe that God's eternal word once squealed like a baby, and when eventually he learned to speak, it was with a regional accent. The creator of the cosmos made tables, and presumably he made them badly at first. The Holy One of Israel got dirt in the creases of his hands. Here is our God, the sovereign, who emptied himself out into the nature of man. As one popular first hymn puts it, the omniscience of who learned obedience. As the book of Hebrews says, the king born in a barn, the Christ whose first official miracle took place at a party involving the conversion of more than 100 gallons of water into really decent wine. And 2,000 years on, and there are still religious people trying to turn it back again. And of course, it was these same people who accused him at the time of partying too hard. Rumours followed him all the days of his life, and he did little enough to make them go away. You probably remember the story about Jesus asking a Samaritan woman with a dubious reputation for a drink, as if he didn't know how that would look. and how he recruited zealots, harlots, fishermen, despised tax collectors, and sons of thunder, and how he enjoyed a perfumed foot rub at a respectable dinner party. One scholar says of the woman in this particular encounter, her actions would have been regarded, at least by men, as erotic. Letting her hair down and in that setting would have been on par with appearing topless in public. It's no wonder that Simon, the host, entertained serious reservations about Jesus' status as a holy man. Jesus made himself unclean again and again, touching the untouchables, lepers, menstruating women, and even corpses. He got down on his knees and washed between the toes of men who'd been walking dusty roads in sandals behind donkeys. And while the dirt lingered in the creases of his hands, he accused those whose hands were clean of sin. Did you hear about the whitewashed tombs, or about the dutiful son who despised his prodigal brother staggering home penniless and covered in pig? Or the story about the dirty low-life tax collector whose snivelling apologies were heard by God while the precise intercessions of a righteous Pharisee merely bounced off the ceiling? The word told dirty stories, and the stories told the word. Offended, they washed their hands of him, Pontius Pilate, the chief priests, even Simon Peter, and they hung him out to die. A cursed cadver, a carpenter pinned to a clumsy carpentry in the flies of the Middle Eastern sun. Eventually, it was extinguished, the sun and the sun. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, glory gone the way of all flesh. But the dirt could not contain him for long. 3 days later, the sun rose, and the sun rose. And now he could do anything, go anywhere. What would he do and where would he go? Out of the whole realm of creation, the entire populace of humanity, Jesus chose to appear first to a woman. A woman in a chauvinistic culture that refused to teach women the Torah and discounted their testimony in a court of law. Mary Magdalene was a colourful woman, a woman with questionable reputation, from whom 7 demons had been cast out. It was the biggest moment of her life, and yet at first, embarrassingly, she mistook him, the resurrected Jesus, for an ordinary gardener, a man with earth ingrained in the creases of his hands at the start of a working day. Yet he'd chosen her quite deliberately, another Mary for another birth, another Eve in another garden to be his first apostle. This too is offensive to some this day. Yes, we believe in the Word made flesh, who dwelt among us as a kind of prayer and sends us out to speak the Amen in every dark corner of his creation. He handpicks dim-witted people like us, the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. Bewildered by grace, we go wherever he sends us. Eat whatever is put before us. Kneel in the gutter. Make the unlikeliest locations places of prayer. We participate fervently in the moral, ambiguous world, carrying the knowledge of his glory in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. And so with the angels, the archangels, and great company of gnarly old saints, we believe that someday soon this whole dirty world will be filled with the knowledge of God's glory. He will breathe once more into the dust of the earth, and on that day every knee will bow, every blaspheming tongue will cry, "Oh my God!" Every hand will be raised in surrender, and he will choose the ones with dirt in the creases of their hands, just as he always did. Flesh will become word and dwell with him in glory. Woo! Come on. I'm going to pray a prayer that Pete Gregg put onto his thing. His Instagram this week. Let's just close our eyes a moment. I know we're over 10:10, but you got a week off now. May the love of God the Father bring unexpected comfort to your home today, connecting hearts that are apart and reconfiguring family this Christmas. May the hope of God the Son, born into dark disruption and deep uncertainty, ignite a light in your home today, surprising you with the joy this Christmas. May the peace of God, the Holy Spirit, console your soul today, filling your heart and your home with the serenity of his presence this Christmas. And so let us return to that first Christmas, to find a fearful mother as she brings her baby into such a dark place and time in history. It's not what she wanted. See the uncertainty etched in the man's features, worried and unable to properly provide, feeling clumsy, unsure of his own role and involvement. It's not what he wanted. Consider their sense of isolation at a time of such vulnerability, far away from loved ones and home. It's not what they wanted. Imagine the frustration they feel, forced to be here now against their will at this most intimate moment by the relentless demands of a distant government. It's not what they wanted. This year of all years, perhaps we may celebrate with new understanding the Christmas no one wanted, the fragility of life in the shadow of death, the hope of healing in a dangerous environment, the love ethereal yet eternal, born to a tiny, vulnerable, isolated, disorientated, disappointed, fragile, fearful family, which is Emmanuel, God with us when others can't be with us. A light that shines in the darkness, a defiant hope in spite of everything. Jesus Christ is the Lord. May God bless you this Christmas, whether you are on your own or whether you're with your family. May you know his presence, may you know his peace, and may you know deep inside your heart the joy of the Lord and the truth of Emmanuel, Christ with us. God bless you, church. See you tonight at 6 o'clock. See you tomorrow at 11, 27th at 11, and the 3rd at 11. God bless you all. We love you dearly. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. God bless.